that I could even order food at a restaurant. 2 years later, building a dream global business where just in the month of August, our team enrolled 6,000 new partners. Wow. And did $1.7 million of sales in 1 month. And it's resulted in a lifestyle that is truly exceedingly and abundantly more than we can ever ask or imagine. It's allowed us to travel the world. It's allowed us to buy our dream home and just really live a dream life. And what is that strategy? Well, when I was brand new, one of my mentors asked me this one question. What's the #1 paying skill in network marketing? What would you guys say it is? Any guesses? Speaking, social media, everything, representing. Tim just did an amazing job. And what I learned from my mentor is the #1 skill is the art of promoting events. And events can be everything. It's our weekly Zoom meetings. It is our Super Saturdays. But corporate gives us 2 nuclear warheads called PXP. Who here loved PXP, by the way? Wow. And also the incentive trips. Who's joining us on the incentive trips? But if you know how to leverage these, they can supercharge your business. And why? Because events are where you find your next leaders. And the reason is, it is the shortcut to rewiring your belief system. See, Henry Ford said this, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And at this event, and I wonder if it happened to you, there comes a moment. And it's when you hear someone on stage, or you see a story, and you say this, you say, if she could do it, if he could do it, so can I. A leader was born. Who here had at least one of those light bulb moments this weekend? You're the leader. So we want to make sure that we can get people to this. So I'm brand new, I'm 19, broke as a joke, but I decided to be coachable. Who here is coachable right now? You're ready, all right? So I'm coachable, and there was an event just like this a couple months after I got started. So somehow I convinced 20 broke college students. I was going through midterm season at UC Berkeley. I was trying to be a doctor, and we end up, we're so broke, we can't afford extra hotel stays. Maybe some of you guys had this experience, this PXP. We drove red eye there, red eye back. We got one of those shady white vans, you know, those, kidnap vans, I remember we were so broke, we couldn't afford the hotel room, so we slammed 10 people into a room. One person was sleeping in the bathtub, guys. But the event changed our lives. And what happened was, we saw people get inspired. We saw the vision. But in particular, out of the 20, there was one that really caught the vision. And that's this person right in the middle. Does anyone know who that is? She was my second recruit ever into network marketing. She was just a classmate. And little would I know, a couple of years after this, she would become my top money earner, a senior officer in the compensation plan, and crush it. And there's a saying, I wonder if you guys can fill in the blank, if you can't beat them, join them. Actually, marry them. Something like that. It was literally at that event that I dropped the knee and I proposed to her, and she's my better 3/4, as you know. So I'm not promising, Darren and John, that people find their spouse here. But who here would love a couple of chair people level 2 Becky Zhengs in your downline? So events are powerful, but specifically, here's the principle of life, is we can control the seeds that we sow, but we cannot control the harvest. And what happens a lot of times is we try to, I don't know if you've ever done this, I've done this, you get that one person that you think is going to be the next chairperson 5,000. And you're like hoping on them, you're praying them, you're prodding them, you're motivating them. That's not the way to do things. So here's a formula, and I want us all to jot down a goal today, and I want you to think about how much money you want to make within this next year. Who here's here because you want to transform your family financially? Okay. Interesting stat. Did you know that for every one person you bring to a big event like this, you can predict you'll make at least $1,000 per person that following year? So if you bring 10, you make $10,000 that year, at least. If you bring 100, you can make $100,000 that year. I'm curious, is anyone here one of those crazy dreamers that when you saw Pam and Nate talk about making $1 million a year, Who here is willing to be the next Partner Co-millionaire? Do we have a comp plan that can pay that, guys? Yes. All right, so bring 1,000. And some of us, I've even already heard $1 million a month. Greg and Lanika Scott, they've done that before. Who here wouldn't mind $1 million a month? I know that's kind of crazy, 10,000. So take your number, and I want you to even think, how many did you bring to this event? There's no shame, there's condemnation, there's no condemnation. But think about next year. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, we got a goal in mind next year? Okay, so number one is that. Number two, though, is the incentive trips. And why are these so powerful? Because incentive trips, I've noticed, who here loves travel and having new experiences? This is the one big thing that makes us different from the rest of the world. Who here has ever had an employer that took you out on an exotic trip around the world?
No.
No one? Right? Very, very few. But in network marketing, you're telling me that we can make money and the company will pay us to go travel? Who here think that's a pretty good deal? So when I heard about this, I'm like, I need to make that a goal, because I don't know how you grew up. I grew up in a family, we didn't have much. My family vacations were a road trip to Vegas, the same hotel every single time. We couldn't afford to eat out, so we'd always pack our own food. And while it was amazing, it ain't no Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, you know? So I heard this, and I remember setting the goal. And we stretched ourselves, we started expanding, and we made it. This is our first incentive trip we ever made in network marketing in Cancun. And you know what it does? It's just saying that once the mind is expanded, it never turns back to the same shape. And we got the travel bug. Who here would love to travel the world like what John was talking about, right? And that, when it happens to your leaders, you start getting people really to see the vision, what's possible in their life. But also what it does is these are the events where you really get to connect with other people. Tim, it's crazy that he was just, did Tim do an amazing job though, by the way? Literally, it's like surreal how this all works, because I remember that day I was in the pool, and across the pool was one of my role models, Tim Sales. I listened to his brilliant compensation 100 times. He was always in my earbud. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta meet my legend right here, you know? And I introduced myself there. We had a great conversation, exchanged contacts, and little would I know, because of that, years later, him and Laura, their entire family, dear mentors and friends to us. So you want to go onto these trips to also build those connections. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. And guys, I mean, Partner Code, they do their trips 5-star, 7-star, even for Bali, right? In the last couple of years, we've been able to bring not just us, but also our teammates to Tahiti. You guys see Darren up there? That was his first experience trying Noni. It's life transformational, all right? So it's a lot of fun. The following year, we went to PV. Some of my teammates here, we were here together. Lots of memories, lots of amazing times. We just came back from Bahamas. Who here went to Bahamas with us? How fun was that? But you get to build a lifestyle, and you get to help other people create that lifestyle as well too, and it shifts and changes your business. So the strategy is really simple. Are we promoting these events of both PXP and also the incentive trips? Does this make sense, guys? Yes. Okay. But the last question I have is the most important question of my entire presentation, and it could be perhaps of this entire weekend. My question to you is this: not why do you want to succeed, but why must you succeed? You see, I don't know if I'm resonating with any of you, but there were times in my business and life, I come to an event like this, fired up, well-meaning, but I get out and I shoot myself in the foot. I felt like there were years when I took 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Who here's ever been your own worst enemy before? There was a time that business went down. We literally lost everything. I had to move from our dream home at that time back into my mother-in-law's office, converted into a bedroom. And we were hundreds of thousands of dollars in consumer debt. And I was trying, I was hustling, I was grinding. Maybe some of you feel that way. You're doing the do, you're coachable, but it's like things just aren't clicking. I remember one day I was wallowing in my sorrow, I'm at home, and my wife and I were preparing for a pool party. And she was selecting her swimming suits. Ladies, correct me if I'm wrong, swimming suits is a big deal. You can't have the same one as the last time in another picture. And you can't have another woman have the same swimming suit as you. True or not true? Guys are different. Yesterday, who here loved the platinum party? I saw like 3 guys with my same shirt. I'm like, bro, what's up? You know? So it's different. But I remember what happened is I'm trying to figure things out. And my wife brings out 3 swimming suits, puts them onto the bed. And she's all excited. And she's like, babe, which swimming suit should I bring? And that question crushed me. Because I realized that these are the same 3 bathing suits she had been recycling year after year. I was so broken, I couldn't even afford to buy the love of my life another bathing suit. And that was the day when the want to succeed became a must succeed. And since then with the tools and the strategies and everything, that's what's led us now to where we are. So, fast forward, last week. This little guy changed our life 15 days ago, and we're in the NICU. He's doing amazing. He's like a little warrior, and my wife's doing amazing. But I get this opportunity. I was surreal. She was holding our baby, and it was her dream. Well, my dream, but her for sure her dream, right? And she's smiling and she's excited, and I just had this moment. I'm like, I hit that goal of becoming the rock to my family. She doesn't have to worry about the money. She doesn't have to worry about the time. And we can spend the time doing the most important thing of our life, being with our families and being with them, right? Yeah. So I bring that up because I want to ask you, who are your musts? Who are your musts? Is it your kids back home that are waiting for mommy or daddy to break through? Is it your spouse that loves you but is tired of seeing you crawl through life and business? Is your friends? Some of us, it's ourselves. Who here has some of your musts in your mind right now? I want to end with an exercise. Are you guys okay with playing full out with us? Yeah. So as we cue up some music, I want you to close your eyes. And on the screen of your mind, think about, visualize those who's, those musts in your life. I want you to look them in the eyes. Can you guys see them right now? Yes. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and if you align with them, then I'm going to ask you a PA statement after me. But I want you to repeat it as if you're talking to your musts. Question number 1. If you truly believe that Partner Co. is the company where you can fulfill your dreams, repeat after me, loud, I believe. I believe. Question number 2. If you are committed to driving the PXPs, driving the incentive trips, all these strategies to maximize your business, repeat loud after me, I'm committed. I'm committed. Last most important question. Look at your who's and your musts in their eyes right now. If you promise that no matter how hard it gets, how much rejection you have, how many failures you have, how long it takes, no matter who doesn't believe in you, if you promise that you will never let them down, repeat after me loud, I promise. I promise. Open up your eyes, Partner Co. family. I sincerely believe that every single one of us can be here up next year, sharing your story and having your must in the audience cheers down their eyes, knowing that you did it for them. It's an honor, it's a privilege. Who here is ready to rock it to the next year PXP?